No, listen! I'm money!
The hard truth is this. No matter what Walter White said, Hank would never have listened. Explaining himself wouldn't have changed a thing.
I don't know who you are. I don't even know who I'm talking.
Walt knew it too, which is why he never even tried. Talking to Hank would have been like explaining calculus to a brick wall, except the wall wouldn't punch back.
Just I swear to Christ, I will put you under the jail.
Hank, fueled by rage and a DEA agent's need for absolutes, was never going to be swayed by Walt's tired "I did it for my family" speech.
All along it was you!
Let's imagine Walt's proposed defense. Hank, I entered the drug trade only to provide for my family. I blew up a nursing home because Gus Fring was going to kill us all. You understand, right? In what world does that sound like a convincing argument to a man who just realized his brother-in-law is Heisenberg, architect of countless deaths, and the single reason his life has been turned upside down? Hank didn't need an explanation. He already had one. Walt was guilty. End of story. This is the crux of the problem. People like to pretend there was a hypothetical middle ground, some shred of understanding Hank might have extended if Walt had bared his tortured soul. But Hank had endured too much at Walt's expense.
2 men are coming to kill you.
Nearly killed by the Salamanca twins, permanently traumatized from pulling the trigger on Tuco.
Tuco Salamanca, if ever a scumbag deserved a bullet between the eyes.
Humiliated, lied to, crippled, manipulated, and even tricked into believing his wife was in the hospital. All roads of his suffering led back to Walter White. What could possibly excuse that?
You killed 10 witnesses to save your sorry ass. Damn. And for what shit about family?
I did it for the family hardly covers organized assassination sprees and mass meth distribution.
If you make Schrader suspicious...
Even Walt knew there was no chance Hank would be converted into his ally.
I did a little favor for an FBI guy.
Now, I was under the impression...
Hank's worldview was painted in black and white long before Heisenberg was unmasked. He was the kind of man who could smugly puff on Cuban cigars while sermonizing about illegality, but still saw the drug trade as pure evil.
Now, we're going to stay on. We're putting together a surveillance team as we speak.
His obsession with justice was as much about ego as morality, but the result was the same. Heisenberg could never be rationalized away.
Marie, the assault charge. I had to suspend Hank pending the investigation.
And let's not pretend Hank was the paragon of virtue in this equation. His alleged honesty in confessing to beating Jesse has been mythologized beyond recognition. Yes, he eventually admitted it, but only after letting Gomez cover for him in a prior bar fight. Selective contrition is not integrity, it's PR management.
Okay, look. Hey, look what they gave me. Look what they gave me.
Hank was perfectly comfortable bending the law when it suited him, and his macho posturing after killing Tuco reeked of insecurity rather than honor. A DEA agent who breaks the rules to catch a criminal is still a criminal, just one with a badge.
No, listen! I have money! I have money! It's buried out here.
But none of this absolves Walt. The firefighter analogy applies neatly. Just because someone accepts a risky job doesn't mean you're blameless if you light the fire that kills them. Hank's death was engineered by Walt, legally, morally, and narratively. The plea bargain Walt attempted on his knees in the desert wasn't noble sacrifice. It was a coward's final bluff, a gambler's last chips.
All along it was you!
The idea that Walt could have appealed to Hank's reason is laughable for another reason. Hank's career had been one long crusade against Heisenberg, and discovering it was Walt made him look like a fool. Pride, the very flaw that doomed Walt, also ensured Hank's downfall.
You have to negotiate your way out of this thing.
Hank wasn't about to let his white whale slip away, even if that whale was married to his sister-in-law. Could Saul Goodman have smoothed things over?
Sure you get in there between the cushions, all right? That's it.
Maybe in a parallel universe where charm overrides federal law. Saul might talk Tuco down from a rage.
My name is Asac Schrader.
But Hank? A man convinced of his righteousness, wounded in body and ego, hell-bent on a singular mission? He'd sooner chew glass than compromise.
You're the smartest guy I ever met.
Walt knew this, which is precisely why he never attempted the speech some viewers fantasize about.
Elliot and I offer to pay for your treatment. No strings attached.
And let's examine Walt's supposed motives. The mythology of providing for the family collapsed long before the desert standoff. He had offers of charity from billionaires, but turned them down because his pride couldn't stomach help from Elliot and Gretchen.
$737,000.
He hit his $737,000 target for family security and kept cooking anyway, confessing in the finale that he did it for himself, for the thrill, the empire, the respect. Every "I did it for you" was just another lie, told as much to himself as to others. Hank would have sniffed that out instantly.
The house? Gone. The feds will come and RICO her and the kids out on the street.
At best, a confession to Hank would have been a free ride to the DEA office, complete with handcuffs and asset seizures. Hank had no reason to compromise. The evidence was already damning. Dead witnesses, the nursing home explosion, cartel bloodbaths, meth empires spanning states. Walt's attempt to justify himself would have doubled as a confession admissible in court.
What do you think, Fed? Would you take that deal?
If Hank wasn't already wearing a wire. For a man as cautious as Walt, that was unthinkable. The notion of Hank softening, even slightly, betrays a fundamental misunderstanding of his character. He was obsessed with Heisenberg, consumed by the chase, and fueled by a righteousness that left no room for nuance. He might have felt a flicker of sympathy for Walt's impending death, but forgiveness? Never. Walt's empire had made Hank look weak, stupid, and blind. No explanation was going to mend that. And even if Hank had listened, the list of unforgivable crimes was too long.
You killed 10 witnesses.
10 witnesses murdered in prison. A bomb in a nursing home. Meth flooding communities. Dozens of deaths by Walt's hand, direct or indirect. Hank didn't need nuance. He had a ledger of blood. Walt's tragedy, of course, is that he never truly did it for the family.
Who are you talking to right now?
He did it because he liked being a criminal, because it made him powerful in a life where he once felt invisible.
If I was in the meth business or the money business.
His empire filled the void his ego demanded, and by the time cancer remission removed his justification, his addiction to power kept him cooking.
That you did this for the family.
When he finally confessed the truth to Skylar, "I did it for me," it was the only honest thing he ever said. So no, Walt couldn't have explained his way out of Hank's wrath. He couldn't have persuaded him, bargained with him, or spun a sob story. The time for explanations had passed seasons earlier.
I don't know who you are.
By the time Hank cornered him in that garage, the only words left were the ones Walt delivered with perfect menace. Tread lightly. Both men lost in the end.
A burial site. That's where they'll find Hank and Steve Gomez.
Hank was buried in the desert, victim of the very inequality of justice he fought against, while Walt's empire crumbled to dust, leaving nothing but corpses, shattered families, and his own hollow pride. The irony is almost poetic. The provider who became the destroyer, and the lawman whose principles couldn't save him.
You and I both know I would never see the inside of a jail cell.
The idea that an earnest explanation could have altered that fate is worse than naive. It's a refusal to accept the brutal truth at the heart of Breaking Bad. Once you cross the line, there is no talking your way back. Walt couldn't talk his way out, but you can click your way in. Subscribe.